All right, welcome back. Week 7, Dirty 30 Pod. How we doing, boys?
Doing
Doing
great.
well. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. A little pod versus pod battle this week, me and Devi. So always excited, always got to bring the juice a little bit. Um, yeah,
Bottom
just
of the
kind of
barrel juice.
bottom of the barrel juice, man. Oh yeah, yeah. Ugly team versus ugly team as of right now.
That's right.
Yeah, we're just kind of doing our normal thing. We got studs and duds. We got a couple waiver fardo meters to kind of give out. We'll talk about matchups, bench players, and we got a pizza bet at the end of the day. Um, I wanted to start off with a poem though, and you guys didn't know about this. I
Oh,
feel like
oh God.
people love that my team is 1-5. So I wanted to get creative. I wanted to write a poem. Um,
Did you
people
write this?
I wrote this poem. I wrote this poem myself. I know you guys weren't aware of it. People love to kind of see me in the dirt. I feel like so. I wrote a little poem. I got roses are red, violets are blue. The league thinks I'm over, but they haven't a clue. With Josh Allen at the helm and Brock Bowers at the wing, my team is looking like playoffs certainly being a thing. Two stud wide receivers and reinforcements coming in. Week 7 and beyond is where Fantasy 301 will start to win.
Damn.
You're such a nerd. It's good though. It's good.
Honestly, I'm impressed. I'm
I,
impressed.
I got a lot of time on my hands, boys. Babies sleep a lot. Still on that paternity leave time. So,
It's true. It's true. That was good. That was good.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get
I'm
into
actually impressed with that. Yeah, I thought that was really good.
it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Week 6, studs and duds. My stud of the week. It came off of a trade last week. Bijan, he was due. He had that Carolina matchup, couple touchdowns, 24 points. 24 points. I get to face him this week, so not super excited that he's heating up, but you knew it was coming. He was overdue. Dud of the week, I had Brandon Ayuk, dude. Just kind of like a weird Ayuk year. Has
He
had like
sucked.
he's had a rough year, man. Like
Not
outside
great.
of one game, I think last week, I mean 2 weeks ago at this point, like just not great. Couple catches, 4.7 points, just not. Yeah, just kind of a weird Ayuk here. And I'm a fan of Brandon Ayuk. So, Christian, studs and duds. Who you got, buddy?
Yeah, there were a few studs on my radar. Jordan Love was one, but I like quarterbacks. I try to keep them off the list, but I was very impressed. I think I'd be crazy not to say and give the credit to Chris Godwin. That dude just, I
Mm,
mean, like
great pick.
he if he is the number one guy, like I mean, Evans is so solid,
Oh yeah.
but like when it is his show, like when Evans got banged up and like he came, like it was his show. Baker's good, and
Mhm.
like Godwin is just fucking fun to watch. And Godwin, the thing is, Godwin will go, he will have 2 points or he'll have 12 catches for 154 yards and two touchdowns. Like
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
Chris Godwin. And like 30, I think he had 30 points. So he would be my stud of the week.
Yep. Great
Um,
pick.
my dud of the week, actually. So I'm going to stay away from like injuries and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Because there were some duds this
Mhm.
week.
Oh yeah.
I
Lots of them.
very disappointed in Saquon Barkley. Like 6
Yep.
points. Like he just started off way too hot, and I'm like kind of wondering like, is Saquon gonna work in this offense, or was it just like a hot couple weeks? Now that like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are back, like how is that gonna work? Like with the mouths to feed, like, and he had 6 points last week, and I thought that was pretty bad. Um,
Yeah.
you can't rely on Saquon getting 6 points a week if you want to win. Period.
No. No, that was a dud week for him for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
great picks with Godwin. Godwin's been on fire, man.
he,
Yeah, and
he
then
he's good.
certainly a down Barkley week for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Debbie, studs and duds of last week.
Stay tuned this week for the revenge game. Saquon's gonna put up like 80. maybe 90.
Yeah, I forgot they got the Giants.
What I hear.
Yep.
Yeah, studs. You know, I'll, I'll just go. I wrote down a few names. I'll just quickly give my flowers. Mark Andrews scored a touchdown,
Mhm.
66 yards. He caught some balls. It was very
Mhm.
exciting stuff.
Sure.
But stud of the week, Joe Mixon. What fun.
He's awesome, man.
God, he looked good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yep. He looked so good, had 100 plus yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see him back, I bet, Christian. So
I honestly, oh, he had 3, but I think 1 got called back.
yeah.
Yep. 2 last week. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
He's awesome, man. He's shot out of a cannon this year. He's looking good.
Yep. And then Dud, I kind of wanted to pick on Dak a little bit, only putting up 3 points. That's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
I want to do this for a Dud. Kind of going back to like Christian did Saquon, only stud guy only putting up 6 points. Jamar Chase was in a smash spot last week and he only put up like 9 points. I mean, is that kind of dud worthy? I mean, he should have put up like 20 something, I think. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to go that route.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's fair, man. Yeah.
Yeah. From what you'd expect of him, like, yes, I agree. Like, it was a complete disappointment.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, completely fair, man. I like it. I like all the picks of last week. Last week was kind of weird. There was like a lot of 130s and there was like a lot of 80s, right? It was just like I look back at it and it was like every team that won just like won by 30 points,
And I feel like we've had a couple of weeks
we
like
have.
that so far.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Moving on to waiver wire. I thought waiver wire was going to be a little more aggressive. I was wrong, right? We have 2 kind of waiver wire ads to talk about. We got Kamani Vidal, $11 going to Derek. And then the next highest one was Demario Douglas, $5 going to me. Where do you want to start, Devi? Take over on the waiver wire Fardo meter.
We'll start with Kamani. I mean, this is pretty quick and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So happy to see him score a touchdown. Love this kid when he played at Troy, and more of a dynasty asset, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So picking him up in redraft is, you're picking up a backup.
Sure.
Now with Gus Bus. I don't know how long he's hurt for, but so I still give it like, probably 7 farts.
Yeah.
It is J.K. Dobbins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So dude could see some action anytime, really. You just never know with that guy, but nice to see him get some work in.
Yeah, and then, I think that's fair, man.
Yeah, 7 farts, good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then Demario Douglas. Got a little quote here. Said he would run through a wall for his rookie quarterback, Drake May.
Holes.
Dude's he's a very exciting young man. So I think for $5, I contemplated on picking him up. I wasn't going to spend 5, but he's they don't really have many other choices in that offense.
Yeah.
And I think the connection is going to be there. We'll see this week with Drake May if he can do it again. But I think I'm going like 6 farts on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair too, right? Hopefully he's a bye week fill-in guy, right?
Volume is key, and he's going to get some volume. So
yeah, Christian, I saw the face. Were you different on Demario Douglas?
I think Demario was a great pickup for $5. I mean, like, you're never gonna play him. You're not gonna keep him because he got picked up. I think he was like he'd be a 6 rounder, so you're not gonna keep. But at the end of the day, like, if you like splash him in there, like your lineup one week, and he scores 20 points, like that's
great pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably be along like the 3-4 range, but
yeah,
I was surprised to see over 5. I was definitely surprised to see over 5.
Yeah, I think that's fair too, right? He's hopefully a bye week fill in.
I'd agree with that.
Hopefully I never have to play him, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, if you're playing him, then like I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
You know,
It's bad news, right? It's bad news for sure. Matchups this week. We talked about it a little bit. Pod versus pod. We got myself, the number 10 seed, versus Dev, the number 8, jumping up a little bit, my man. Craig the 1 plays Derek the 9. Eric the 6 plays Marcus the 4. Tanner the 7 plays Tyler the 5, right? A little twin on twin action. And then Kyle the 2 plays Christian the 3. That's a big matchup. That is fun.
This is a good week.
Good week. Good week. Getting down to it, right? I think next week is like the halfway point. Next week is our award ceremony, right? Our halfway mid-season award ceremony pod. So bench player to outscore their starter. Sorry, first off, Rody wanted to add, he kind of wrote in, he talked about like, hey, maybe in this section we should talk about like if there was a bench player last week that would have made a difference in that week. I was like, great idea, right, man? Unfortunately, there wasn't, right? There was just like every team just got blown out of the water. So we'll kind of keep that in mind going forward. But yeah, I look back at it, like every team lost by like 30, 40 points. It was just not happening. So bench player that outscored their starter this week. Hear me out on this one, right? This guy has been the squeakiest of all squeaky wheels. And I'm going Calvin Ridley, right? I hear you. He should be on the bench. He needs to be on the bench. Will Levis is terrible. But you don't say that. You don't go squeaky wheel without like getting fed a little bit this week, right? Has a decent matchup, and I get Najee went nuts last week, right? But like he's kind of banged up. Warren looked halfway decent. Here comes Russ. I just think the squeaky wheel gets fed, right? And I understand I'm 0-6 on this, right? So like Tyler probably don't hear me out on this, but Calvin Ridley over Najee. It's bold, and I think the narrative of it all maybe makes a little sense here. So, what do you think?
You're not going to catch too much gruff because you're talking to two Calvin Ridley fans over here. So,
yeah.
You're not going to catch too much gruff. It's exciting. Yeah. It's an exciting pick, that's for sure.
God, last week was brutal though.
It's not great.
No, 8 targets, none of them catchable. It was bad, man. All bad. Debbie, who you got, buddy? Bench player over their starter.
Yeah, I mean, I think I live for picking on Tanner in this section because I love
tough matchups.
I love JSN so much. But I like JSN over Sutton. I don't really trust anything with this garbage game tonight. You know, even if Sutton's the only guy that catches balls on that offense.
Yeah.
I'm going JSN over Sutton.
Yeah.
Which is probably too late for him now anyway. So
yeah, I get it though. All right, I get it. Christian, bench player is going to outscore their starter.
Yeah, I like both of your picks. Ridley, obviously, like I think the game flow for Ridley too, obviously really helps. Like probably playing from behind, and like we saw, like you said, squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like Romeo Dobbs, we saw it last week.
Right.
It could be a very much same thing. And like I honestly, JSN over Sutton was on my radar. I swear to God, like it was definitely on my list, but I'm gonna go a little bit different. It's kind of more of like a game flow thing where like Jaden Daniels versus Carolina is in the starting lineup right now. And like Jaden Daniels has been awesome. Like there's no doubt he will be rookie of the year, I would imagine. But Kyler on the bench at home in prime time against the Chargers in what I think will be a little higher scoring game. Because I just don't think the Panthers are going to keep up really, and I think the Commanders, they're going to like run the ball quite a bit. I do think that like Jaden Daniels will have a fine game, but I think like Kyler, regardless of whether Marv plays or not, I think like his ceiling is higher this week because like I just think I really think like him at home. Like the Cardinals are not a bad team.
They got embarrassed last week.
but like I really think that they bounce back this week, and I think Kyler has a really good week at home in prime time against a team as shitty like defensively as the Chargers. So that's just my opinion. But I would play Kyler. I would take the shot and play Kyler over Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I love it, buddy. It takes some stones to bench Daniels, right? But like I hear all the points that you're making. I do.
I love that one.
I
That's
did it.
exciting.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to watch, man.
Yep.
Buddy, when you were on last, we made some money. I forgot what the bet was, but we definitely made some money.
Did we?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm starting to remember it was Packers over Rams maybe that week.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And the line was like 3.5, and it just like did not make sense. And we made some money. I think they won by 5, won by 6. Where are we at this week, man? You got a bet of the week that you like?
Yeah, man. I know some people aren't gonna like this one.
Oh,
It's hard for me
There you
because
go.
like when you're looking at the season, right? It's like what is more likely at this point? Is it more likely that the Vikings go 6-0, or is it more likely that the Lions lose 2 games?
Ah,
And I think coming off the biggest, like honestly, probably the biggest like ass whooping of the year. I just think the Lions are clicking, man. Like, and I think that the Vikings are just kind of due for a dud. Like, they're good. I think the Vikings are a good team. Like, I think that they are legitimately like a true playoff team.
mhm.
They're a good team. They're gonna compete with anybody in the NFC, and I think it will be a good game, especially with the Vikings at home. But
yeah.
I think that like if you're giving me the Lions as an underdog, like against anybody in the NFL, I'm probably taking
What's
the
the line
Lions.
again? 1.5?
So the Vikings are favored by 1.5.
Right.
So I'm taking
Yeah.
Lions money line.
I get
Like
it.
I
I get
just
it.
I know, and the Vikings are tough at home,
Mhm.
but I just think like Goff is clicking too much. That run game is too good.
Yeah.
Like David Montgomery was also on my stud list.
Oh, he's
Like
the man.
the
He's
dude
the
is
man.
just
So good.
he's so good. And
Yeah.
like that offensive line is just so fucking good. And like Flores feeds off of pressure. And the Lions have arguably the best line in football. And I never thought I'd say that, but they do.
They do.
And like I mean, they're just good. And I know they lost Aiden Hutchinson. That's fine. But like I think that they are going to win the football game.
Yep.
I do not see a world where the Vikings start 6-0. Like I just don't.
Yeah, I can't blame you. I think it's going to be a great game, right? It's going to come down to the
I'm
wire.
really
Yeah.
I'm not gonna disagree with with anything he said.
Nope,
I mean, Skull Vikings always, but yeah,
for sure.
For sure. I mean, like, and don't get me wrong, like, if the Vikings win, will I be shocked? No. But
Sure.
like,
Right.
if you're gonna give me like, that's like putting the Chiefs as an underdog against like the Ravens. Like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna take the better team. Like, typically, like
Sure.
Mhm.
you just take the better team, and like at the end of the day, like it kind of works out. Like I don't know, man. Like it's hard. It's difficult, but like and I know some people are gonna like give me some flack about it, but at the same time, like the Lions, their weapons, they do not fuck around. Like this
Oh,
is
they're nice.
easily
Good
no, don't get
team.
me wrong. The Lions have beat great teams with good weapons,
Mhm.
but the Lions, this is the best test for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a great game, man. It's one
It
of those games that I'm
it's gonna be a really
very excited about for sure.
I can't believe they didn't flex it.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
gives a
no
fuck about
shit.
Yeah.
Steelers and Bills or whatever the fuck that night game is.
Steelers
Horrendous.
Jets. Yeah, brutal.
Horrendous. Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah, that's
Even
gonna be a good one.
like even the Cardinals Chargers on Monday night. Like, give me a break.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
No trash talk this week. Debbie and I have a pizza bet. We have kind of a different pizza bet. We got pizza bet just on our matchup, right? Whoever wins will get pizza for sure. We also got cheesy bread on the line. and
Ooh.
we are picking 2 players. So I'm picking 1 player off of my team, and then I'm going to pick 1 player off of Devin's team.
Okay.
And I'm picking my player that I hope scores the most, right? And I'm picking Dev's player who I hope scores the least off of his team, right? And Debbie's going to pick his players as well, right? So the 2 players picked off of Dev's team and the 2 players picked off my team, we'll add them up, and the winner of that will also get cheesy bread. Is that making sense? I feel like hopefully
It took me
just
it took me a
starters?
second, but then I got it. Yeah.
just starters,
Is
right?
it just starters?
Yes, just starters, right? So we'll go through it. The player I'm picking off my team, I have 2 choices, right? I'm either picking AJ Brown or I'm picking Malik Neighbors to go nuts, right? They actually play each other. And I'm gonna pick Neighbors.
Wow.
I was stuck on Brown for a
Wow.
while. I thought it was gonna be Brown for a while. I think Neighbors outscores. I'm gonna pick Neighbors as my player to go against you this week.
I thought AJ Brown for sure. I like it.
Yeah, and
both are monsters.
And there's one reason why. I remember Malik Neighbors being your dislike player for the NFC in our preview, and I think he's gonna have some words for you this week, Debbie.
I disliked him when.
Mm-hmm. We'll go back to the show. We'll go back.
Yeah. Check the tape. Check
the tape, brother. Check the tape. We will.
I don't think I could ever say a bad thing about Malik.
I was as surprised as you are, man.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check the tape.
Who's your player that you're picking off my team to hopefully not score that much?
Well, I think we had some talks about it. If I was going to pull the trigger on old Javante, you threw him in your lineup.
He's in there. He's playing in this garbage of a game.
Yep, and you've been talking smack on if I should take him or not. I was kind of, James Conner's kind of been on the dumps lately, and I was kind of leaning that way. Same with Josh Jacobs. Just pick it on your running backs.
Olays guy.
But I think I'm going to call the Javante bluff just like you want me to, and that's who I'm picking off your team.
Javante and Neighbors this week.
Yep.
Sounds good, buddy. Who's going to be your stud off your player off of your team that you're choosing?
Kind of in the same conundrum. It's going to be Amon-Ra. That's who I'm picking.
Makes sense.
I was kind of leaning maybe McLaurin in that Carolina matchup, but probably not a matchup where they need to be tossing the rock a whole lot. I think the Vikings-Lions game is going to be more fireworks, and I think Amon-Ra usually does pretty good against the Vikings. So that's gonna be my guy.
Cool. And my kind of like low hanging fruit just joined his team this week, right? I think I gotta pick Amari Cooper. Right, he's kind of boomer bust.
Could be interesting.
Right? Kind of brutal for me, right? I have Josh Allen because I hope he kind of scores a little bit, but yeah. So we got pizza on the line, right, with our matchup, and then we have a Amon-Ra and Amari Cooper versus Neighbors and Javante bet for cheesy bread. Sound good, buddy?
I dig it.
Yeah, I would like to propose something.
Olays. What's going on, sir?
I would like to reach out to Craig.
Yes, sir.
Everyone knows my love for Rashid Shaheed. The fact that I didn't get him was truly a travesty. And obviously we know that the unfortunate news after a great start to the year, he's now out. We know Craig is not keeping Rashid Shaheed. We know I'm probably not keeping Rashid Shaheed because I have like Reed, Achane, both like 11 and later. So that's not necessarily like a question of like who's keeping who. I want Rashid Shaheed in case I win a championship. I want him on my squad. He deserves to be on my team. I want him on my team. So I would like to make a proposal to Craig, and he and I can chat separately. But if I score more than Craig this week, I will get Rashid Shaheed in a trade where I give him a player of my choice.
Sure.
Because realistically, like I'm giving him a player for a player who's not playing again the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And he gets to pick a player on my team of a few players. Like I'm talking like Roma Dunze, Jalen Waddle, honestly, like would be in play there. And like that would obviously be a huge steal for Craig.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm thinking like whoever scores more this week gets essentially like an override of that trade.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now that's a proposal Craig has to accept, but we'll see.
Of course. I love it. Yeah, Rashid Shaheed needs to be on the squad just for like good vibes, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, man.
Right?
I mean,
Just
like,
good vibes.
I mean, I love the guy. Like, I would have loved to have traded for him weeks ago, but like, he was asking an arm and a leg for him. So,
Yeah.
like,
I think it has to get done, right? And if you outscore him this week, it's a force, right? It's a auto trade. It's happening, right?
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
like Craig is forced to accept that. There's no way he can't. So I'm with you, boys. Good luck this week, week 7. Well, Devi, not so good of luck, but Christian, good luck, buddy. We'll get back at it next week. It'll be mid-season awards.
hell yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Let's
boys.
do it.
Later.